Hello world! Dave here, you may call me mowdownjoe. Welcome back to Let's Play Penny Arcades on the Rainslick, Precipice, Darkness 3! And since the last time I went overboard and bought a lot of stuff from the item shop. Just the item shop, upgrade my items mostly, just level up on the potions and the molotovs and all sorts of stuff. I went a little crazy. Let's go visit the Harks! Yeah, Tycho's a little pissed off. Because, well, he said he wanted to do some interrogation, so... and I found it weird that they shut off the sharp run here. I mean, I had run on from before. That's peculiar for a mask. Well, you know where you guys are going from. Yeah, why didn't you do the typical thing of scattering it to the four winds? Instead, you leave it locked in one town. That is a little silly. New release of that at a local children's bookstore. You don't have kids. Actually, the Penny Arcade guys in real life do have kids, but in this universe they don't. This whole thing was set off because you went to a water park. And it's boss time against Euripides Hark. Well, this is actually pretty much a fake battle. You know how this goes. It's gonna be, yeah, it's kind of like the Leviathan, except this guy has more HP. So just blitz him with your heaviest hitters. There's really no reason to bother with anything. He's a joke. He's meant to be a joke because this is supposed to be an interrogation. A cruel and unusual interrogation. And plus, we got some levels for the Delusionist there. Temple of Man holding the face of God. Wait, then what was in the museum? I think your metaphor got away from you there. Anyway, yeah, we got the temple to check out. There's nothing really to look at among all these paintings, so let's just walk through. Nothing fancy to see here. Kind of like all the chains everywhere. It's nice decor. Very spacious compared to most of the other dungeons we've dealt with. And we got Deep Crows to deal with yet again. No, I'm not doing the Deep Crow thing again. I'm sorry, Deeper Crow, whatever. That's probably comforting to someone that you've divorced. Anyway, yeah, the Deeper Crow is pretty much just a bigger Deep Crow. The same strategies apply. Watch out for the defense debuff. Outside of that, this guy has a lot more HP, but other than that, he's really... You've gotten a lot stronger since the first Deep Crow fight, so really this should be easier. I mean, if all he has to show for it is more HP, you can really hurt him. He seems to be especially vulnerable to stun, so starting off with Noir will probably give you such a huge head start that there's really no way that the Deeper Crow will recover. So just go at it with whatever happens to be the strongest spells that you happen to have available, their strongest attacks. One thing that might not have... this guy has pretty much the same weaknesses as the Deep Crow, but he's also... But one thing I guess I didn't pick up from the Deep Crow fight is that they're weak to Holy. So one really strong... one Devil Knuckle should knock out, like, a sufficient amount of his HP. He has, like, very little physical defense. So it's just, like, Holy Knuckle, like, your Devil Knuckle, and just Devil Knuckle, your winds, your whatever, should be sufficient to just knock this bird out. So, seriously, he doesn't really have anything going for him as far as skills. Just blitz him with your best attacks and you should deal with him. I mean, he has 45,000 HP, but that's nothing compared to the deep. Compared to your levels have grown so much more than the Deep Crow has gotten in HP that it really isn't that big of a threat. You can probably just break your way through, really. So yeah, he doesn't have anything to worry about. Just let loose with whatever happens to be your best skills, and you'll pretty much wear him down eventually. Although, yeah, watch out for his calm, because he'll debuff all your defense and he'll make things challenging if you don't get it off too quickly. On the plus side, still is vulnerable to being interrupted as ever, so slower than the regular Deep Crow. So this is an easier fight, especially considering that he doesn't have anything to show for it other than more HP. So you can probably just hit him with your best debuffs, and watch you completely cripple him. Of course, still resistant to dark magic, so don't even bother with that. But you can have Jim hit him with some Ichor and call skeletons and all the other little tricks that he has up his sleeve. And why not? Fluid will work. I think that'll interrupt him. That should be timed well enough to interrupt him. It's really a pathetic fight. And see, 10,000 damage from one Devil Knuckle. Yeah, this fight goes much quicker than the other one, especially considering he's so slow and weak to all. So it's like all will actually deal sizable amounts of damage to him. So it's like this fight isn't nearly as dangerous as your first encounter, as the Deep Crow encounter from earlier. So you should go down relatively quickly. That's like the only attack he gets in on me. He always leads off with it, but considering he's slower and easier to interrupt, and you shouldn't have any. It shouldn't be nearly as difficult as the Deep Crow fight. At least it wasn't for me. I'd make this fight look relatively easy. Worth a hell of a lot of experience, though. So what else is around here? Well, I got a reasonable amount of enemies to deal with. Team members, aspects, giant skulls. The giant skulls are probably priority number one in any group that you have to see them with. They can stun you, and it is, well, not a pleasant experience at all. All the enemies here are pretty resistant to magic, but the aspects are weak to fire, so you can probably have Gabe just launch into a frenzy of flaming fists and regular attacks, and that should wipe out most of these guys. Some of them are resistant to physical attacks, but you should be able to still just break them in two with mostly. So just let loose with your best attacks, and you'll overwhelm them eventually. It shouldn't be too hard. Just make sure to deal with the skull first thing first, just because it is gonna be very difficult. Yeah, litany of curses. Man, that just hurts. Stun is probably one of the most painful status ailments in this game. I will say this much. It's actually a little frightening to have to deal with them, but just let loose with your best attacks, and you should eventually overwhelm them. Actually, come to think of it, I probably should have went and just used a Panacea on Mora there, but Panacea is like... It feels like status ailments in this game just don't come up often enough for me to even consider using something like a Panacea. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, these guys are overall it's not a hard fight, but this group isn't a hard fight, but you really want to take out those skulls quickly, because they're overall very, very infuriating. Yeah. Oh, come on, this should be... Yeah, whatever. But yeah, these guys aren't, I mean, the skull is probably the most infuriating enemy you'll deal with, but thankfully they doesn't seem to get a lot of but thankfully they're frail enough, they really don't have to worry too badly. It's just, and the team members, yeah, they really don't have any special tricks up their sleeve, they just like to come in large numbers, so don't worry about them, they just let loose with your normal barrage, and that should be sufficient to wearing them out. They are relatively fast, but they don't have any, but they thankfully can't boost their speed up any faster, so you shouldn't be having any kind of difficulties whatsoever. Yeah, good old claustrophobia. So So, what's in that chest over there? Melcoria, not bad. And let's give this weapon a look. It shouldn't be too bad. I guess it could be useful, but Mora seems to get more use out of having high speed and higher attack power or magic power. So, I mean, it's not a bad. It's a reasonable side trait to the Phazon, but I wouldn't use it. It's not for me. So let's go and check out this guy. We got Resonance and Rattlers. The Rattlers also happen to be weak to fire. So, but again, all the enemies here are very resistant to magic. So, nice little fun. Although they are all weak to holy. So if you wanted to, although really Devil Knuckle is probably overkill, and we really don't have any holy spells that hit all enemies. So that's gonna be difficult to say the least. But outside of that, these guys aren't too much of a problem. Just let loose with your best. Just have Gabe light up. Go start off with Flaming Fist, and just a bunch of punching, and a bunch of punching from him should be sufficient for dealing with whatever happens to come your way. Yeah. Magic resistance, magic damage really feels like is getting less useful, to say the least. But you know, you take what you can get out of it. Yeah, sometimes it's kind of weird how my 360 controller was acting up there. That did reasonable damage, I guess, but yeah, I'm probably still not going to bother with magic stance as long as I keep Gabe as a tube samurai. I mean, I was really just curious to see how much it did, and you know, it's good against some enemies, but considering how much I've seen Double Knuckle do, I'd just rather just save up 2 more MP and use Double Knuckle for 4 times as much damage. Double Knuckle is insanely good against the right enemies. But yeah, this is overall. These guys are not a tough fight at all. They don't have any special tricks up their sleeve, though. In fact, I think we should be. In fact, we could probably just nuke them with whatever spells we happen to have left. So just one wallop, and that should do it. And that should do it. Oh, come on, take your turn. You really don't have to bother. Yeah, that's easy enough. Ooh, Pontificus. That seems interesting. Let's go ahead and give that one a little look. So yeah, and yeah, it replaces a just monocle. It gives a magic buff to all your teammates, although it's much more expensive, which is kind of not strictly better. I don't know why they wouldn't let us have both. Anyway, we got some more resident occultists here, associate occultists here. So these guys, they're pretty much the same guys that we fought at the start here when we had dealt with the head Harkness himself. Jack Harkness. I swear, all the Doctor Who references that seem to slip into here. Whatever. Anyway, these guys aren't really that tough. Just deal with them the way you deal with any other enemies around here. Just punch them into submission, and that should be enough to deal with them. And full auto is still useless as shit. I don't even know why I bother with it. It's literally it's like they want you to use it a lot at first, and then they eventually realize, oh, this attack is really crap. You never even get a better version of it, it seems like. I've never even seen you get a better version of it yet, but you figure eventually, maybe at level 40. That seems to be where Zeboid likes to cap things off anyway, so. Anyway, this is an overall pointless fight to deal with, so we'll be fine with just bashing them in with like we normally would, so. And it's overall. So yeah, I really don't have anything to say about these guys because they're overall not really much of a threat. And if they die to just being punched, then why do I say anything? But yeah, that will wrap up this episode. So, eventually, next time, we'll continue exploring the caverns. Until then, I'm Dave. Remember the interrogation... I can't think of anything. Just take care. Normally I don't do something later. I don't feel like it, though.